Willie D Live.
Yeah, so yeah, I get it, man. I absolutely get it, man. But you have been moving the needle, man, for a minute
I
on
appreciate
social
that.
media. Like, what is your goal though? Like, I know that you jump on and you help
Hmm.
people with business,
Yeah.
and you try to enlighten young men and even women.
Yes.
But what is your overall goal? Because you seem like the type of person that'll be on social media and using it for a greater cause,
Hmm.
like beyond what you're using it right now for. You seem like the type of person that'll go do your own platform. Like, are you working on something like that now? Can you
you,
speak to that?
you know what? I tried to. I left the software business in 2021, and I've played with it. I've taught a lot of people about software, which I think is the best business to get into, especially if you're ambitious and you want to make hundreds of millions of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
You want to make insane amounts of money because all the people that have huge amounts of money, mostly software guys. But it is a very complex, rigorous business. It is the most competitive business on earth. And in as much as that's the case, I don't really want to go back into it. And for example, competing with, say, YouTube, it's really quite challenging because we don't have pure capitalism in the United States. That's why a guy like Elon Musk was able to get so rich. People are like, this guy's a genius. And some people say he's dumb. Both are lies. He's certainly not a genius, and he's definitely not dumb. He had a lot of government favors, and that's why he was able to springboard, which is amazing because he's not really an American. But I say all that to say, if you were to go up against a company like Google, which controls YouTube, you'd be going up against billions of dollars. You're going up against not only their technical infrastructure, which is the most sophisticated on earth, damn near, but in addition, their library. And that's why it's hard to beat them because of the library. All your music is on there, right? If I wanted to have your music, I couldn't even get it on my platform. So I cannot compete because YouTube's great value is the library, like the 20 year, 15, however long it's been around, say 15 years worth of content. So it has become a catalog, a library, a reference point. It is today's library. So you cannot compete with YouTube. In fact, no one tries. And that YouTube should be broken up as a monopoly. It's the only platform that really does VOD, video on demand, things that are recorded, not live stream. Now, in the live stream game, there's a lot of competition. There's Kick, there's Twitch, there's all these different things. People say that Rumble is a competitor to YouTube. Like, this is utterly ridiculous. In fact, I predict that Rumble will actually crash and burn. As far as paper assets go, I'd take a short position against Rumble. I think that they're that bad. And it's not only because they lack library, but also the user interface, user experience is pretty poor and it's not improving. So am I building something to rival YouTube, something to promote freedom of speech? It's a tough game. Even Trump tried to create Truth Social. It's a bit of a bust. So I try to stay out of software generally. I do have one software idea that I've worked on a little bit that I think will be highly profitable. And if I can find another good engineer, I might push it across the line. One thing that I always tell people: health, wealth, relationships are critical. And my good fortune is that when I was in the software business, I had a lot of great relationships because building software is expensive. And one thing, people don't realize is that the software industry is hyper liberal. Remember, Silicon Valley is in San Francisco. It's a very liberal industry. And I raised many millions of dollars in software businesses I've been in. And they've been private companies, which is part of the reason you say, well, what was the valuation? Like, no, I like to stay under the radar in as much as possible, away from the government agencies, which I trust at some point will take an unnecessary interest in me. Anyways, I may build something, but a lot of the guys who are great engineers that I've worked with, now they're working at Walmart. They're working for these huge, Facebook, or they started businesses. And so it'd be a bit of starting from scratch, but the most important thing is that it would be really hard to raise money. And I was a money raising machine. Like, when I was raising capital, whether it was for the kids in Baltimore, for the nonprofit I founded, or the nonprofit they recruited me for, or for software businesses, I raised much, much money.
What's the most you've raised for a single entity?
Again, I don't want to state that
I mean,
publicly.
not your Your personal
Yeah.
entity, not your personal company.
What,
For
what
an
I will
outside
say,
company.
what I will say is on my Instagram, you can find me in a photograph with Mayor Bloomberg of New York, who we all know is a billionaire and very well connected. You can also find me a picture with many persons who are presidential hopefuls, and I've raised money from all those people.